And a reminder, the first 30 minutes of this podcast are available on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, Google and many of the major platforms. The full podcast is available at www.patreon.com/SRBmedia. SRBmedia.
Good evening, Gabby.
One of these days, I'm going to say it's not Gabby, it's an Argus salesman, or it's Avon calling, or it's a Jehovah's Witness, but it isn't. It is Gabby, and welcome all to Terry Curran's Curran View, our weekly podcast with the idol of Hillsborough, Mr. Terry Curran. I thought I'd drop that on your lap, mate, and keep you on your toes.
Yeah, somebody's got to keep me on my toes.
How you doing? What kind of week have you had, and what magic moments have you sourced for us this week?
Well, I missed the game with Sheffield Wednesday.
Yes.
I had vertigo so bad all weekend, but I did see some highlights of it. And my magic moment is Dean Windus's 2 goals. His second one was sublime.
Josh Windus. Yeah.
What am I about?
Yeah, his dad.
Lad Josh. Yeah. His second goal was just like I like to see players, pace and pace.
Yeah.
Pace and place. You know what I mean? First one was a great goal by great movement, and then he's a crossbar with a free kick. Yeah. But as usual, it's fantastic goals up and down the country from all different teams, which we could pick from. But I've gone with my beloved Sheffield Wednesday this week.
Absolutely, and a fantastic through ball for Josh. I mean, it was a tremendously paced pass, and he still had a little bit to do.
Yeah.
But he just picked his spot. His composure was sublime, and it really was the goal that really broke the back of Newcastle. I mean, they bounced back nicely last night, but it was a game that ordinarily you would fancy Newcastle to win. But I watched the game. I thought Sheffield Wednesday were absolutely magnificent and good value.
I didn't see all the game, like I said, because obviously I weren't well, but I did see highlights of it. I expected Newcastle going to try and win the FA Cup, try and win one of the cup competitions. Yeah. You know, I mean, the FA Cup has got more prestige about it, so I would not disappointed because I want us to win Sheffield Wednesday, but I was surprised that Newcastle didn't take it a little bit more serious. But like everyone's told me, I mean, Jock said to me, Dad, it was a great game. Sheffield Wednesday played really well, so, you know, proud of them. You know, great atmosphere again at the club. I mean, it's a massive, massive club. You know, one of these days we may get a chic owner and start challenging the Manchester Cities of this world, because we have a fantastic stadium, what could be made even better, fantastic support, and it's got great tradition.
I think sometimes the football world forgets how brilliant the Steel City is in terms of football support. You've got 2 clubs up there. You've got Sheffield Wednesday and Sheffield Wednesday Reserves.
Yeah, that's true.
But you know,
and I play for Sheffield Wednesday first team, and I play for Sheffield Wednesday Reserves.
And then you move to Everton. But if both of those clubs had owners like, for instance, a Manchester City or perhaps not so much Liverpool.
It's up to Manchester City. It's up to Manchester City. It's up to Chelsea.
Yeah, I think they're good examples, those 2 clubs.
When you look at Newcastle, could they be the next one? You know, so I hope it happens in my lifetime, because I'd like to see Sheffield Wednesday win the Premier League and the European Cup. But, you know, we just have to wait and see.
For again, those that don't understand, I mean, back in your day too, when you played in the Boxing Day Massacre and then you played in the return game Easter Monday, you had over
95,000 people.
Absolutely. Sheffield is a massive hotbed of football, and when you think that neither team have really punched their weight for a long time, and what was the last success of either side? You know, it's a city that's starved of it, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you're looking, you know, finishing fifth or sixth or fourth. Did they finish 4th one year? But they didn't. They weren't the you couldn't go into the Champions League then.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure, but they've had little bits. Going to Wembley semi-finals of Cup, but not what you could say. Real threatening league titles and winning major cup competitions. It's a massive club. It's a massive club. But when you talk about it being a massive club, I mean, it's not a massive club for winning trophies.
No, but it's a big club.
It's a massive supported club. What would be sold out, you'd be queuing for tickets if it was winning major trophies.
And,
so,
and I think you're great to reference Manchester City, because Manchester City have had an awful lot of money thrown at them and still don't sell out the Etihad in certain games. If you put the same amount of money into Sheffield Wednesday, I'm absolutely certain that they'd be selling out Hillsborough, and you couldn't get enough people into that stadium to watch Wednesday.
100%. But don't forget, in Manchester, regardless what anyone says, it's the biggest club in Great Britain, and you could say it's arguably one of the among the top 3 clubs in the world.
Yes.
Fan base wise. So, I mean, you'd expect City to sell out because they say there's more City fans. I can't see that.
No, I don't get that.
But but United do get following throughout the world, don't they? So.
Yeah, but football fans do say that. I mean, I hear the same argument in Birmingham. There's more Birmingham fans that live in Birmingham than Villa. Come on, you're having a laugh, aren't you? They're not. They get lots of support from outside the city because of former successes and how big the football club are, and can command a wider audience than your usual club side like Birmingham or a Manchester City. The second team within that city. My magic moments, T, I've identified 3. I did put up Sublime, and a number of people on the Curran View said it hit his shin and it wasn't a great finish. And I said, I'm not talking about Núñez. I'm talking about Trent Alexander's pass come cross. I thought the way he got the ball from that right back position, worked himself in the middle of the park, and then put over a pinpoint accurate cross for Núñez just to drop his foot on it. I think he dropped his foot and he got his ankle in a certain position that he just stopped the pace of that ball and put it exactly where he wanted to do. I didn't see it as his shin, to be fair.
He's, without a question of doubt, is closely to Beckham with the best cross of the ball, English player, crossing the ball with the right foot. I mean, you can argue about his defensive, but all these good left backs and right backs are protected a lot.
Yes.
You can't say Mo Salah's going to do a lot of chasing back.
No.
So he's isolated, but at times he's got to defend better.
Yeah.
But he's still, for me, one of the best in the country, and without question of a doubt, one of the best in the world at crossing the ball.
And I did say when I went to watch Liverpool at Villa Park on Boxing Day, I said to the boys round by us, unbelievable how that manager does not pick Alexander, because he picked out, I think it was Trent for the first goal, with an unbelievable pass, and he put a few pearlers through that day. And the lad said to me, yeah, it's because the manager's an idiot. And I said, you're going to get no argument there, my friend. He is an idiot. And I think that when you look at, you don't play Trent because you don't think he's a great defensive player, but what he can do when you get the ball. And I think it's the English
What's the game about? What is the game about?
Absolutely. Scoring goals.
Winning, isn't it?
But we're too bothered, T, about what we do off the damn ball than what we do when we've got possession of the ball. I don't worry about when we ain't got it. Let's get hold of it.
A question for you.
Yep.
Is it about time that our coaches, English coaches, because I'm talking about the English coaches, is it about time they go learn their trade abroad? Because when you look at the foreign coaches what come in and the foreign players what come into this country, even not everyone, but there's loads of English fans will say to me, why are they technically better than us, their players? Right? So does our coaches now need to go abroad to learn the trade of coaching, how to coach football in this country? Because we're falling far and far behind. You can say, well, not Graham Potter. You can say Al is doing really well up at Newcastle. Do you think Al will be there when they start really going for the elite players?
I think there's an argument that when the Saudis...
There'll not be no argument, Gabby.
No?
Like everything else you heard on this thing, I'm telling you, they'll go for an elite manager. And I'm not saying he's not a bad manager, right? I'm telling you, once they start going for the elite players, they will make sure they have elite manager in place. I guarantee you that. I mean, I said to you about Potter when he went to Brighton, he was better than Houghton and he'd do well. He's earned his right to go and manage a top 4 club. But his problem was, and it always will be, can he handle the big name players? And that's what always frightens me with people like Potter. Now, when you take Gerrard and Lampard, nobody's got a divine right to get a job. Nobody's got a divine right to be successful. But when they have worked with the elite managers they've worked with, you would expect them, to be challenging and the team's performing better than what they have done throughout their football careers. You can turn around and say, well, Gerrard's done well up at Rangers. There's only 2 teams in Scotland what's going to challenge for the title in Scotland, and it's like anything else. One club will have it for 5 or 6 years, and the other club turns it around and they've got it for 5 or 6 years. But once they start to come, it's like England. Once they start to take on the better teams, we just fall by the wayside. That proves there's something missing. So for me, if I was coaching, I'd be coaching outside the box, and I wouldn't have 5 or 6 coaches in and around me, because at the end of the day, you've got to make that decision. Too many decisions, like they're saying, was it too many cooks spoil the broth?
Yes.
We have it all. We've got it all wrong somewhere along the line. I know partly of it is, I've seen our coach, and it is poor. It is very, very poor.
I think the thing is, with English football, we've always listened to the wrong people. I think that's the first starting point. I think it's been going on for generations and generations. I think when you look at Jimmy Hogan, who went to Europe and taught all of Europe how to play football, the only nation that didn't look at Jimmy as a footballing guru was the English, and overlooked him. I think we've always had coaches that have gone abroad and done very, very well, but we've never respected them and their abilities. I think you look at TV, went over to Barcelona. You've covered
that with great bullet point, because that's what we've never had, bullet points. We copy other people.
Absolutely. I think we've got to.
You've just covered that perfectly.
I think we've got a great game. I think it can be improved. The one thing that we've always lacked is that ability on the ball. We've always looked at the physical aspect of the game rather than the skillful aspect.
I'll disagree with you. I think we have got the ability. We
don't
think the ability.
No, but that's what I'm saying to you. We've always overlooked that, and we've always gone for brawn rather than brain. Whereas the foreigners have looked at it the other way.
We're obsessed with 2 major things in this country:
athleticism,
box to box, midfield players.
Yeah.
Athleticism. What you want, because they always say, look for an athlete.
Yeah.
And roll your sleeves up. Well, rolling your sleeves up is going out to defend.
Absolutely.
That doesn't mean that's meaning to me that you don't know how to attack to try and win a game. It's to make sure you don't, because the first thing a majority of English managers I played for, I guarantee you, Howard Kendall never said this, or Clough never said this, but the rest of them, if you don't win today, you don't lose.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's the mentality.
Clough always said, you're better than these.
Yeah,
and don't disbelieve yourself.
Mm.
So I mean, what legacy have our coaches left? I mean, you could look at Brian Clough. He played like Manchester City play.
Yep, absolutely.
Like Barcelona play.
Yep.
But we've never gone down that way.
No, we haven't.
We've gone Charles Hughes' way. Our coaching is always the same. It's when they make a substitution, it's like for like, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, yeah. And I go back to, we've always listened to the wrong people in football, and we've always based our games upon the physical, the physical side and that work rate and that let's not get beaten rather than
where's it got us, Gabby? Seriously,
it's got us nowhere. And this is what I'm saying.
Without being, I don't want to knock people, be rude to people.
Yeah, same.
But they'll look at it. We've got to a European Championship in his own backyard,
and
semi-final of the World Cup,
and failed,
and a quarter-final of this European Championship, I should say, and a quarter-final of this World Cup. And they think that's success.
Exactly, but this is what I'm saying. They're listening to the wrong people. They always have listened to the wrong people. When we put players up like Calvin Phillips? It is Calvin Phillips that plays for Man City, isn't he? And Declan Rice, and Jude Bellingham, and let's build the team around these enforcers. No. Let's build our team around skillful players who can get the ball down and play. And we look at the Spanish, we look at the Brazilians, we look at the Argentinians.
Look at the one it wonders.
Exactly.
Look at the one it wonders. What's one cap?
Yeah.
Listen.
Yeah.
I'd sooner not win a cap.
Yeah.
Than if I couldn't play football.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this players was played for England, and again, I'm more like for criticising our coaching than our players. Because there's players for every football club up and down the country.
Yeah, but how many of them players?
Once you're playing for the elite team, which is the national team, you have to have elite players.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
Who was a kid who was at Bolton Wanderers under Sam Allardyce, the black lad, centre forward? What was his name?
That JJ Kocha.
No. He's.
Oh, you're on about Ricketts, aren't you?
Ricketts.
The black lad that played for England.
Do me a favour.
I know.
Do me a favour.
He was at Walsall before. I know. Yeah, but we can go.
I'm not bothered about him being at Walsall.
No, neither am I. But what I'm saying is, he started there at Walsall. I mean, Alan Clark started at Walsall. Walsall, a great football club, but then he progressed up to Bolton. But he was never an elite. He was never an England international player. We have given away so many caps to players that aren't good enough to cut it at that level, and wonder why we fail.
Work this out. I mean, I like Peter Couch because technically he's not a bad player for the size of it.
Again, so
but
do
would he have got in a German team?
No.
Would he have got in a Spanish squad?
No, neither would Andy Carroll.
Would he have got, in a Brazilian squad?
No. No, none of these players. Most of our English international players would not get into another national side.
Big lad, powerful, scored against West Germany. Not of a match in a sense, really, because it's only a friendly. But there's no friendlies against them. I get that bit.
Yeah.
Right? But as soon as we come just knocked out of competitions, what's that tell you?
It tells me that we're just fundamentally not good enough.
And I look at it.
Yeah.
It's not, and I'm not knocking them. I'm knocking the managers for picking them.
Yeah, again, 100%, but you got to blame the FA for picking the managers in the first place. I mean, I look at this kid, this Cole Palmer. I think he's a great player. I think he's got great technical ability. I think we've got the likes of Phil Foden, we've got the likes of Jack Grealish. We have got some really fantastic football players that can get the ball down and play football, but they're always going to be overlooked for these players that have got more physical presence about them, because that's what our game is based upon. It always has been and it always will be, sadly, because, again, I go back, we listen to the wrong people.
When you look at those players you just talked about, then you can add Jack Grealish. You can add Trent at Liverpool.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's stacks of them.
Yeah.
The manager is paid to get the best out of players, not to get rid of them. I don't like him.
Absolutely.
Listen, forget the coaching. They can't even get the best out the elite players we've got.
No.
Work that out.
Well, you look at the so-called golden generation. I've never bought that. The golden generation was the 70s players. But when you look at, you got Scholes, you got Lampard, you got Gerrard, and it was always...
You get Scholes would have gone in any team.
Oh, without a doubt. But
because of what he tells me, and I like Gerrard and I like Lampard.
Yeah.
They would have not gone in that Spanish team with Xavi and Iniesta, but Scholes would have.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. But what I'm saying is, it was always a case of an England manager saying they can't play in the same team together. If I'm his boss, I'm saying I am paying you a king's ransom. You will find a way of playing our best players.
How do they?
It's
Listen,
incredible.
there's two things to that. How do they know they can't play together if they don't play them?
Well, exactly, yeah.
But then on top of that, and to prove a point to that manager what says that, what does he do? He goes and plays one of them out of position.
Exactly,
so,
yeah.
So he fails.
Yep.
To prove him right.
Yeah.
Well, it's a joke, man. Our coaching in this country is a joke, and I've said it now for long enough.
Absolutely.
Long enough.
So when you think,
if I was advising our coaches now, I would turn around and say, get your badges and go and learn your trade abroad.
But what did Brian Clough used to say? Get your badges and stick them up your jacksie. Cloughy, if we listened
the thing is, the way our society is, listen, I don't believe in badges. I really don't.
No, neither do I.
Right? But at the end of the day, with the rules and the rules are, I mean, people used to say to me, get your badges.
But change the rules.
Go and do what you want to do.
Yeah, but change the rules. I mean, you don't have a badge to say you're a footballer. Why do you need a badge to say that you can teach a footballer?
Listen, Gabby, they're always going to trust someone who what's got a badge.
Yeah, but they have this badge situation and charge people to get the badge. So it's not about what you actually do when you're a coach. It's how much money you can give the FA whilst you're getting your badge. That's why they have the badges.
I'll tell you. I'll add this to it. Look. Football's a merry-go-round with practically the same managers.
Absolutely.
For years it went, right? So Stoke City would sack a manager and replace him with practically the same philosophy of a manager.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And where did he get him anywhere? Nowhere. Yeah. Stoke were happy to play in the Premier League under Pulis. Right? Did they play many great games? No, but some Stoke fans will say to me, "Well, you didn't see him play. We like." I get that. I mean, but it's I'm not a Stoke fan, but I don't want to watch that type of football. But I love watching Stoke. Forget about it. But I love watching Stoke in the 70s.
Absolutely.
When they were playing attractive football.
Yep. 100%, and that is the difference. Back then, they had Tony Waddington. Waddington's philosophy was playing football on the front foot. He used to love his inside forwards. He'd always go and buy a great inside forward. He'd build his side around getting the ball, passing the ball, using the ball. And Stoke under Pulis, a completely different philosophy. Let's defend, let's get men behind the ball. And when you have managers with that philosophy and the English game is littered with them, you're going nowhere quickly. We listen to the wrong people. I liked
Ian Greaves at Bolton. I always thought he was a good manager. His
former
teams always played attractive football.
Yeah, former Busby Babes.
This kid's not an English coach. It's Wagner what's come back to Stoke, to Norwich. Yeah. He takes Huddersfield.
I know.
I've never seen a team as, listen, I don't say this because I've got soft spot for all my teams that I play for.
Yep.
Really, Barwich every night. I don't dislike them, but I don't,
Yeah.
I don't look for them. But I do look for Huddersfield and then all the teams, Everton's and all them. I look for all them. Now Wagner's gone there. If he takes Norwich up, right? Yeah. What do you think he's going to do when he takes them up? Not this year, maybe next year.
Exactly the same as what he's done with Huddersfield.
All he's going to do. They're never going to go out of his 18-yard box.
No.
I think they won about 3 games that year when they got relegated.
Yeah, absolutely. So all they're doing is bringing in a manager that's failed before with negative tactics and will fail again with negative tactics.
So then what you get then is fans will turn around and say, well, how can we compete? Listen,
easy.
If you don't stand up to bully, he's going to keep bullying you.
Buy players that have got ability, have a manager who's got a philosophy of playing front foot football.
Try and beat the team you're playing against.
Absolutely, T.
Try and beat them.
Well, you look at Brighton. Okay, Potter's left and that. The new manager's come on and he's done very well, following in the footsteps of Potter. And you look at Thomas Frank, who followed in the footsteps of Dean Smith. He's carried them on and he's improved them. Brighton and Brentford don't go on a pitch and think, oh, we're playing Liverpool and Man United. We ain't going to bother having a shot at goal. We'll put 11 men behind the ball. They're brave, they're bold, and they have a go, and they get results. And so many football managers and coaches look at it and go, and they actually indoctrinate the fans to think that, oh, if we go head to head against these, we'll get absolutely spanned. No, you won't.
Today's managers, are practically millionaires.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So, if they got the sack,
don't matter,
they've got a good living, and then they've got a good living, and they could get a job, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And have a nice life.
Mm.
But they just sit back and frightened of getting sacked.
Yeah.
Why are you frightened of getting sacked?
Frightened of getting the sack. Frightened of being relegated from the Premier League, which ultimately would lead to getting the sack these days. And fear football is what's being played. Most times I turn the telly on and I think, what a load of rubbish this is. I think I'll watch Coronation Street. Football is going backwards, not forwards.
I couldn't watch Coronation Street and any of them, I really couldn't.
No, right? I'm joking. At the same time, I just go to bed and read a book.
I was watching Arsenal and Oxford the other night, and and like I said to you, I praise Arsenal, I praise Arteta. Yeah. But Arsenal looked as though they just weren't bothered. I don't mean it's not they weren't bothered. They always thought to themselves, "It's an easy game, this." And so after 20 minutes, I didn't want to watch it.
Absolutely.
So. I don't know. I don't know if I'm getting too old. I'm getting an old man what's complaining. But I try to be positive, and I try to look on the bright side of any team. If I watched Sheffield United beat us 4-2, we were 2-0 down when Brooks was at Sheffield United.
Good game.
They were 2-0 up. We come back to 2-2. They finished up winning 4-2. And I went first to praise Sheffield United. I went first to praise Brooks. I thought, brilliant game.
Absolutely.
Brilliant game. I enjoyed watching us, disappointed that we lost, but what a great performance by Brooks that day.
Absolutely, and that's what you look at.
That's what I want to say. I don't want to go to a football match and keep criticising our players because we're rubbish. I mean, I've looked at a lot of fans this year about Sheffield Wednesday. I've said, look, we're in the right position coming up to Christmas. Right now, I'm looking at it now. I think we'll win. I don't think we will win the league.
Yeah.
Now, because we're playing with a lot more confidence. I said before we went on this run, we need to put a 14, 16 game on run. Now it's 18. That's what we did when we got promoted that year. We didn't win the league, but I blame that. I blame that down on Jack because he was more cautious than throwing things forward. I mean, we could have beating other teams by sitting back going 1-0 up. Because at times that's how Leeds used to be under Revy. Once you went 1-0 up, but they would keep the ball, we would just play the corners and give it away from his own goal. And if it's how to play, we've got a chance of getting a throw-in or a corner, and it's in their half. That's how they looked at it. And that's how our coaching's been for a lot of years.
Absolutely, T.
People be coming to management and they're frightened of losing, so that's why they go and play that way.
Yep, something has drastically got to change. It's an entertainment business, football. We go to football to be entertained. Sadly, in this country, it's about the win and about not getting beat and forget the entertainment. But the other magic moments for me, Theo Archibald's goal for Orient against Doncaster Rovers. What a goal.
That was a great goal.
It was phenomenal. But again, this is what we watch football for, not defensive performances, not, defending and being bored out your skull, to see something in a game that makes you sit up and go, wow, that was fantastic.
Let me take you upon that because you're 100% right. What do the experts on TV, pundits say on TV? They talk more about defensive performances than attacking performances, don't you know what I mean?
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
You listen to a game, right? The team what's won, but they will talk about the team what's got beat and how poor the defensive were, or how they're playing for the manager.
I look at a game and what player has inspired me, what player have I watched that I'd like to watch again, and what entertainment value have I got. I look for those magic moments, and then the other magic moment too is Alexis McAllister's flick goal for Brighton Hove Albion in their 5-1 win at Middlesbrough. I mean, what a goal.
I don't know. Listen, was it? It's dropped to him and he's reacted to it brilliantly. So,
yeah. It wasn't a great ball in, but I mean, great improvisation.
Yeah.
SRB